This is not how I intended to start this. But I sat on the floor. Hi, handsome. Hi. Can you sit? Hey, can you sit? It's a good boy. Just need some attention. You're okay. Anyways, hi! This is my dog Rusty. I'm sitting on the floor, so he thinks he belongs here. I am so angry, you do not even understand. I just recorded 5 whole minutes of me talking. I didn't have my mic on, nor was it turned on. So even if it was like over there where it was over there. Even if it was over there, it would have still picked something up, but I didn't have anything turned on. You take 2 weeks off and then everything's a mess. Hey there, lovely people. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Sammy and I'm a writer who likes to help other writers become better writers. And I like to learn about writing through reading and share what I learn with you. This week, I am not doing a Writing Tip Tuesday, unfortunately. I just didn't really want to. I really am exhausted by my bookshelf here because it's a mess and I want it to not be a mess. And I think by it being not a mess, I will be more encouraged to pull books from it. And if you haven't seen my video about my new reading strategy, you can check that out up here. I am intending to try and read a physical book at any given point in time. So having this shelf of books that I already have being more accessible to me may be beneficial for me in the future. My game plan is to take everything off this bookshelf and then put everything back onto the bookshelf, including this giant stack of books that is up here, because that is an addition. So my intentions are to organize this bookshelf, and I'm doing this because I like to watch other people organize their bookshelves, and I thought maybe you would also like to watch me organize my bookshelf. I swear to God, this sounded so much better the first time I said it. It was so much more natural. Onward and upward. I do have less time now since I recorded this and then got cut off. I will have to stop before noon, and it's currently a time I don't know because my phone's out of reach. I have to finish this before noon because I have to work at noon, so hopefully I can do that. And hopefully I didn't just waste 10 minutes sitting here talking to you twice. Oh man. Okay, so I am gonna get started organizing these books and separating them on the floor. So organizing, not anywhere near as hard as it could have been. Very good. There is a lot, but I do think that I may just leave the notebook stuff out of my bookshelf organization for the time being, because I have a lot of notebooks, used and unused. I probably should separate them between used and unused, but neither here nor there. It's too late for that. I guess I can do that next. But I also maybe should pull the books that I don't want out of the piles. Cause like I've got a Cheetah Girls music book and I do not expect to use that anytime soon. And maybe that would be something that would go to that used bookstore. Maybe that's what I should do with that. I guess I'm gonna start putting the stuff on the shelves based on tallest pile. So right now, that is my like self-help nonfiction pile and my writing stuff pile. Those are definitely the biggest. Oh, there's so many books here. We got this. We got this. We got this. So I'm thinking writing books, maybe like this way. Writing books that I don't think I'm gonna reference in the back, and writing books that I am gonna reference or want to read in the front. I think that's fair. I don't know if I can do 2 rows like that. I guess I can. I guess I can. So that's cool. That's not gonna work because I want to read all of these books. I think I'm going to have to re-separate these books. But it's okay, because I just checked the clock and it's not even 10:30 yet. And I've got until noon. So that's an hour and a half. So we're gonna extra separate. a little bit more than had initially been planned, because this is not, it's not enough. Okay, so because I feel like I am taking a step away from screenwriting right now, like I'm distancing myself from that, I'm gonna put my screenwriting books at the back. Maybe I'll do the books on reading next, because these are all gonna be the back row, and I still have a lot of other ones. I like the memoir type books a lot. I really enjoy them, because they're not like telling you how to write. They're telling you like what the person who wrote it, their experience of writing is like. And I like that more than being like, hey, here's how you write this thing. So I feel like those should probably go in front, because I do really like them. And I would be more likely to pick one of those up. I'm not near the point of revising yet, so I'm gonna put these in the back. I mean, I am technically currently revising a play, but I'm not revising fiction. Now I have it on my shelf, and that is delightful. Come on, bro, come on. Those books are both curved slightly the opposite direction. Yep. Okay, okay, okay. I'm gonna put in general writing in the back. Just like study type of writing, like talking about what makes a book. Those kinds of books are gonna go in the back. So we're gonna put, oh my goodness, my word. Okay. These in like so. This one is a little bit longer. This one, everything falls over. Nope, okay, cool. It's almost exactly half, but this book is just so gigantic. That's pretty delightful. Okay, I guess I will do the same thing with my nonfiction self-help books and separate them into categories, because that made it way easier. 10 out of 10. So what I might do behind this, because I think, hypothetically, let's just say, for the sake of it, if we just shove these in here, can all of these fit in one row? Yes, absolutely. I'm gonna put my used bullet journals behind these guys. So let me dig into this pile of notebooks. Achieved. Okay, so this next shelf, I'm thinking narrative fiction and then classical fiction. Maybe if there's room, I'll put my plays on it too. So we will do that. These 5 books right here are all giveaways that I won, which is crazy because I usually only enter the Kindle ones, but here we are. This one will definitely be staying on my shelf. I adored this book. You can check out that video too. Loved this book. And then this one will have a video coming out on Saturday. So that should be fun, hopefully. So you should check that out. I decided to put those on this side because I had already organized them, but I do think that behind them, because there's still all of this space, I'm gonna put used notebooks, specifically composition notebooks, because I have quite a few of those. I don't really know how I would categorize my classic books, so I think I'm just gonna go from like smallest to largest, because I have a lot of these like mass market paperbacks. So we'll go with those as being like the front. Actually, I'm gonna put the hardcover books in the back. And then I think that'll give me enough room between these ones to put the plays that I have in the back, because I don't actually really care about them. All of the plays that I have purchased are literally just because I had to read them for class. And you can't really find plays online like that. I don't actually really care if they're back there. We are getting somewhere for sure. We are definitely making progress. Just out of curiosity, I don't know if this book will fit vertically, but I do think it makes sense to have it on the shelf that I have plays on, which is the book on Hamilton the musical. That's great. So now all I have left are my big books, which are generally like hobby books and cookbooks, and then bigger notebooks. I'm killing it on time. I was so worried that this was gonna take me more than 2 hours. So these are all my music books. It's not like I ever play piano, but maybe someday I will want to. And then I will have these books that I already know to reference. So we'll just hold on to these for a little bit longer. This giant binder that is full of like so many different things. I've never referenced this, but it is sort of like a time capsule type of binder. We're just gonna stick that right back where it went. I literally almost never pull anything out from this bottom shelf because it's all mostly just like things that are hobbies that I'm not actively participating in. And then we've got arts, paper, stuff for like children to learn how to do handwriting on, but also very good for practicing calligraphy. I definitely use this as a small child. I have 5 pages of me using this as a child, but it is actually something that could be helpful for calligraphies. So I'm gonna put my calligraphy book with this. All right. Great. I have 2 books on Italian because I was doing Duolingo for Italian. Now I'm doing it for Spanish. I will probably go back for Italian once I finish Spanish. Family cookbook, other cookbooks. Stack those because they're little. They're wee little. And then I've got this much space and a whole bunch of notebooks that should go in. Because if this works, oh, it's not. It's not gonna. Not gonna be up to what I'm hoping for. But I have this one left. These are 2 packages of refills. This one. I have 2 disc-bound notebooks that are completely unused that are not in there, and 1 junior disc-bound notebook. And then this notebook that I needed to take out for general usage purposes anyway. But I would say that's pretty good. Like, look at her. She's all organized and functional. And it's not even, I don't actually know. Let's find out. It is 11:15. So I still have 45 minutes before I have to be working. I very much so wanted to talk about why I have such a small bookshelf and like why I don't really read physical books very often, and my intention to read more books from the library as physical books. And I just forgot because I was like racing against the clock. I, for one, have the disdain for keeping books that I'm not gonna read again or have any reference. Or again, I don't typically reread stories. I don't like to reread stories. It feels like a waste to me because there are so many more new stories that I haven't consumed that I could consume. I'm not really a comfort reader. I don't read anything just because like I know what's gonna happen and I know how everything is gonna go and it's gonna make me feel better about whatever. There's literally only been 1 book that I've ever reread for that nostalgic feeling, and even then I was like skimming it and skipping ahead super often to avoid actually having to reread the whole story. I was just skipping to the parts that I wanted to read, and that's just sort of who I am. So having a huge bookshelf of books that I'm never really going to reread is not super necessary. That's why this shelf, like I don't read a lot of nonfiction, but my top shelf is all nonfiction. And it's all stuff that I can reference, and it's double layered in here. It's all stuff that I can use multiple times over and use to better myself and better the people around me. Whereas like the amount of fiction books that are just books that I would read that I have purchased, I don't want to buy them in a physical format because I don't know if I'm going to like them. I don't know if it's going to be something that I'm going to want to hand out and give away and let other people read because I think it's such a great book. I don't want to waste the space and the muscular strength to have to move a bunch of books that don't actually mean anything to me. And I discovered this pretty early on because I would go book shopping with my mom and we would buy books and then I would read them and then I just have a bunch of books and she'd be like, "Are you gonna read those?" And I was like, "No, I already read them." And then I would just keep them forever and never ever look at them ever again after I read it. And then I donated all of those books. And I was like, cool, because I moved out to go to college and I was like, I don't need to keep all of this stuff here. If I don't need it in college, then I probably don't need it in life. And there was obviously some stuff that I held on to for like nostalgic purposes, but generally I got rid of most of the things. And now I'm like, man, I wish I still had that XYZ book from high school so that I could see what it's like now that I'm not in high school. And now that I've got a new perspective on reading these books that we were forced to read in high school, but I don't have it anymore because I didn't want to keep it. And I'm honestly impressed that I kept Hamlet and The Brothers Karamazov because I hated The Brothers Karamazov. It was like the worst experience possible for reading for me. And I probably would have gotten rid of it, but I had a screenwriting teacher in college tell me that that book was really meaningful to her and that you should try and read it again at a different point in your life. And I was like, okay, sure. So I still have that. And I still have all of my notes from when I was in high school. They're on little sticky notes because I intended to get rid of the book. And I don't want to pick up a book that somebody else has already written in. I also don't want to write in pencil. So all of my notes were made in pen on sticky notes so they could be removed and not have to worry about ruining somebody else's experience of reading the book, having bought it used. There's something different to me about getting a book for like half price or a third of the price because it's a used book. There's something interesting in getting a book now that has somebody else's notes in it, especially for nonfiction books. I don't want a fiction book or a classic book that's got your notes in it. I do not want that. I'm probably not gonna buy a book from a used bookstore that's a fiction book because I don't want there to be notes in it, and I don't really need to have a book on my shelves unless I already know that I love it and I'm going to want to give it out to other people and I'm going to want to be able to say, yeah, these are my favorite books. That's why they're on my shelf. I adore these books. I don't really want to buy into the consumerism and the you have to buy all of these books to be somebody who's considered a reader. You have to have this like giant bookshelf that if you're gonna make videos on YouTube about being a reader, you need to have this giant bookshelf behind you that like is super aesthetic and super cute. I want that, but I don't want it just to have a bookshelf. I want it to all be filled with meaningful books for me. And if that means saving some money right now and saving some space and saving some energy for moves, I will read them on my Kindle. It's not that big of a deal. I actually love reading on my Kindle because it's always the same weight. It always is in the same spot. I'm blind. I can take off my glasses while I'm reading and not have to worry about doing that thing where like you move the book or your body to be able to make sure that you can like see the next page because it's in two different spots. You just find the one spot and then it's all there. I love that. And that's how I want to live my life. I can fit my Kindle into my purse. My purse is really tiny. I can't fit a book into my purse. That's why I'm not going to be buying more physical books to have a physical book to read. If there's a fiction story that I want to read and I want to read it as a physical book, I'm going to get it from a library or in a giveaway, I guess. But I am not going to force myself to fit into a consumerist ideal of what a reader looks like because I don't have the space for it, I don't have the money for it, and I don't really want to do that. And that's just me. So I'm gonna continue reading on my Kindle and my phone and like getting audiobooks and not having to have a physical copy of every single book that I've ever read because I just don't want to. I don't want to buy a book and then be disappointed. I should say I don't want to spend $17 on a hard copy of a book that just came out to be disappointed. I actually just bought one book. I bought Financial Feminist. This is the first brand new book I've purchased in a very long time. And I'm okay with that because if I don't like this book, if I don't think I want to reference this book, which I feel like I will based on all of the content that Tori Dunlap has put out in the world. If I don't like this book, I can give it away. Somebody else will find value out of this book. I can sell it to the used bookstore and somebody else will find value out of that book. And that's okay. I have to know that it's going to have another life past me if I don't want to keep it. And that's where I'm at right now. Most of these books I've gotten from the used bookstore. It has gotten another life from me purchasing it. It can have another life from somebody else like me purchasing it if I don't want it. All that to say, you don't have to have a giant, amazing, beautifully decorated, gorgeous, wall-filling bookshelf to be a reader, be somebody who reads a lot, be somebody who enjoys reading. You can absolutely go to your library and get books that you want to read that are new books. You can get the library's copy. You don't have to buy it. I feel like social media is just sort of putting out this like, I'm gonna go shopping for books. Come book shopping with me. Here are all of the books that I got. I bought all of these books. How many books have you bought that you haven't read? If that's your hobby, if buying books is your hobby, that's fine. That's all you. You do what you gotta do with the buying of the books. But I am not into that hobby. I have like extreme buyer's remorse from purchasing things. For any general purpose that isn't groceries, I feel bad about buying stuff. So ebooks are easier for me because it's not something physical that I have to look at. Yes, I do get to read the book, but it's not something I'm adding to my space. It's not something that's gonna be a huge financial strain. I think the most that I've ever paid for an ebook was like $8. And even then, I almost exclusively buy ebooks from independent authors on Amazon. And I do that when I have the like, hey, you don't have to deliver this right away. It's not a big deal. Great, here's a free $3 to use towards digital purchases. I use that free money to buy independent authors' books on Kindle. Otherwise, I get them from a library. And that's where I'm at. That's what I want to do. And that's how I want to spend my time and my money and my space. I want to spend up all of my digital space. My goal is to fill up my Kindle's storage, which is gonna be so difficult. It's gonna be so hard to do that. So I did just want to say that. I do feel like it's just somewhat important to talk about. But that is all that I've got for you today. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. What's your bookshelf strategy? Do you go entirely aesthetic? Do you organize by color? Do you put your books with the spines backwards? What's your bookshelf strategy? Do you have a bookshelf or are you an ebook reader like me? Let me know in the comments what your bookshelf style is. And leave a like if you enjoyed this video. It'll really help me out and help YouTube find other people who may also enjoy this video. I will be here on Saturday with a story study on Really Good Actually. That'll be happening, so if you don't want to miss that, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. I'm also going to be back on Tuesday with another Writing Tip Tuesday, and again the following Saturday with another story study. So I will see you guys on Saturday for that story study video.